Hey, Kris McEwen here from McEwen Reviews It, and I'm with Mike Nakayama of Club Champion, hanging out here today in Chicago, and it's a big day for me. I'm getting fitted for a driver and shaft. Mike, who should get fitted?
Yeah, thanks Chris. Thanks for coming in today. So really everybody, and that's the truthful answer. Whether you're a beginner, tour player, right? Collegiate player, anyone in between. We do fittings for beginner golfers, and that's probably the most common question is, am I good enough? Do I deserve to get custom fit?
Yeah.
But really everybody can benefit from it.
Okay. And kind of what's the process of being fitted? What does it mean to get fitted?
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's a pretty broad spectrum too. So you can go into a golfsmith and or go in any local big box store, and go get measured for length of your clubs, or look at loft, lie angle on the golf club.
Okay.
We take it a little bit further. It's a little bit more in depth. You're going to be doing a lot of swinging, where we're actually able to diagnose, through the equipment, whether it's certain club head or certain golf shaft, what's causing some of those swing flaws, but also how can we optimize just overall consistency with your equipment. We find that a lot of people essentially aren't diagnosed, in terms of what they should be using, what they shouldn't be using, and there's so much to pick and choose from now out there in terms of club heads, golf shafts, even grip sizing.
Right.
So we take it to every minor detail in here, and
Club Champion does putters, irons, drivers, the gamut. You guys do it all?
You got it. So every club in the bag, driver all the way down through putter.
Super cool. And then what's the process exactly? So we're gonna go. You're gonna have me hit X number of balls. You're gonna collect some data, and kind of.
Exactly. So in a nutshell, we have you bring in your current equipment. So today we're looking at a driver. I'll have you hit 4 or 5 shots with your current club, and we'll analyze all the TrackMan data, take a look at a lot of your ball metrics, and again relay that to you in terms of, well, how can we optimize it? What can we improve on in terms of ball speed or trajectory off the club face, and then that's how we're picking and choosing certain heads, certain shafts off the wall for you.
Okay. Cool. Can we get to the most important part, which is me getting fitted?
Definitely.
All right, let's go.
Let's do it. So, if you want to give me 3 or 4 swings with the current club there, Chris.
Okay.
And just like you've been doing, man, just give me a few rips. All right, so Chris, what we're looking at here, this is actually just your last swing that I took in.
Okay.
The good thing is I'm going to save all of your data here, so we'll take again, a baseline of, say, those 6 or 7 driver swings you just gave me, and then again looking at the numbers, specifically ball metrics off the club face, so ball speed, launch angle, backspin numbers. We'll be able to show you what we can do to optimize trajectory, distance, overall consistency for you with the driver. So working left to right here, when we start looking at swing speed, fairly self-explanatory how fast you're swinging the golf club. Everyone wants to know that.
Right.
See how fast we're moving it. So we're swinging the club at about 97 miles per hour. Okay. Now at the end of the day, swing speed is one of those generalized metrics, in my opinion, right? Of course, we'd all love to swing it as fast as a PGA Tour pro. What's more important to me, though, is realizing, well, as long as we're finding the center of the club face and we're maximizing that contact, that's the most important thing to me, right?
Okay.
We know that we're going to get the most efficiency, right, most distance control out of that golf club. So when we start looking at ball speed, that second number, 137.8, simply put, contact in the center of the club face, or if we're looking at a miss hit off the toe or heel, or high or low off the club, that's going to give me better insight in terms of how you're actually striking the golf ball and what kind of true performance we're actually getting out of that golf club for you.
Got it. Okay.
So how we can tell if that's good or bad is we use a number or ratio called smash factor. So smash factor at 1.41, we're just taking your swing speed at 97, dividing it by ball speed at 138 here. Okay?
Simple enough. Okay.
Pretty straightforward. A good smash factor for a driver, we'd be looking at about 145 or 146 for smash factor.
Okay.
optimal would be 1.5, 1.51.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So ideally, you'd love to see ball speed 1.5 times your swing speed. Okay. So if we kind of look at this swing specifically, right, wasn't too bad of a hit.
Pretty close.
Actually. But
Pretty close.
if we could actually get that ball speed number, another 7, 8, 10 miles per hour faster for you, that would be the ultimate goal.
Okay.
With a different head, different golf shaft.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Second part of this, when we start looking at launch angle as well as how much backspin you're producing on the golf ball, this gets more into probably more of the golf shaft, in my opinion, when we start talking about, well, what really controls ball flight? What controls direction, dispersion for us, gives you that consistency. So launch angle is looking at rise angle of the golf ball off the tee, looking at that rise angle to the highest point in your ball flight, call that the apex in your ball flight.
Okay.
So a typical launch angle off of the driver would be 12 to 15 degrees. So this actually isn't too bad,
Okay.
12.5. Now, this is all relative to how much backspin you impart on that golf ball as well. So there's somebody, that hits a golf ball at a launch angle of 16 or 17 degrees, won't need as much spin on that golf ball to maintain enough carry and enough height.
Right, okay.
Now, I've also had customers where, somebody launches it at 8 or 9 degrees with a driver, and they might need that spin rate closer to 3,500 or 4,000 RPMs.
Yeah.
Just to have enough carry and also maintain rollout on the golf ball.
Okay.
So when we say this range, what's typical of 12 to 15 degrees, I'll say a spin rate number, in the specific swing is 3,000 RPMs of backspin. Somewhere in between, we'll say 2,200 and 3,000 RPMs. It's a pretty broad range there,
Yeah.
depending on what we see in launch angle
Yeah,
and
okay.
smash factor and some of the other numbers. I'd say you're in that ballpark there, Kris. I'd love to see that spin maybe a touch lower, 2,500, 2,600 RPMs.
Okay.
And what that means for us is it probably won't affect carry distance too much, but you would actually see a little bit more rollout on the golf ball. Okay. And then we're also taking into account directional miss as well. So whenever you see that spin rate elevated, it's going to create a little bit more spray or a little bit more curvature on the ball.
Got it.
So ideally, I'd love to see, again, launch 12, 13 degrees. But again, seeing spin at 2,500 RPMs would actually help correct some of that directional miss for us as well there.
Got it.
Okay. So based on all those numbers, that's how we're getting a distance readout, carry distance, total distance. And we can also look at some other metrics in terms of overall curve on the ball flight. We can look at side dispersion, and we'll start getting into that as well.
All right, cool.
Okay?
All right.
Fly.
Yeah, it looks like.
You don't really want to do that.
Right.
You just want to swing and figure it out.
Right. So, Kris, what we have here is a report screen, and this is what we're going to generate for you. Being able to compare, all the different swings that you took today with all the different drivers.
Okay.
Now, just to keep this clean, right? I just did your stock driver, which is in the pink here.
Okay.
And I did the TaylorMade driver with the TPT number 16 shaft for us for comparison. That was our best setup that we found.
Yeah.
And what's neat is we can look at a dispersion chart here. Again, once you include all the other clubs, it'll give you a shot-by-shot breakdown and show you that radius here.
So cool.
I think we're on a little bit of a run there.
And this is really what I wanted to show you is, really a trajectory difference. And then you can see how much yardage we actually gained.
Yeah. Look at the blue.
With
Can you
blue
see
at
on
the
there?
TaylorMade man. So, pretty amazing stuff. I think overall we picked up about 20 yards here in total distance.
That's crazy.
And at the end of the day, we talked about this before, trajectory won't look that much different for you.
Right.
Just because when you start gaining all that ball speed, it'll naturally generate a little bit more height and a little bit more or a little higher trajectory for you overall.
Okay.
But the good thing is we're actually still minimizing backspin on that golf ball, so it's going to offer more hang time, and then when it hits the ground, actually seeing a little bit more rollout too. So you can tell just within that apex trajectory,
Super cool.
pretty much the same effective height on that golf ball. And this will also be included. So we will be able to save all of your swings. And again, we have all this filed for you.
Okay.
And you'll be able to go back and compare those TaylorMade swings versus the stock driver that you're using.
Yeah.
And really allow you to
Oh yeah, look at
show
the
those two
averages
clips
and yeah.
side by side. So overall, what is that?
Yeah.
Almost that's 30 yards almost.
Yeah,
So
227 to 256.
love it.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
right. Cool.
So overall, great gains, man. Picked up about 12 miles per hour in ball speed here.
It's awesome.
You know, smash factor 137 to
And
144.
changing nothing in my swing. It's crazy.
Changing nothing.
Yeah.
And you know, pretty amazing stuff. Being able to go to a little heavier club head. I'll say shaft weight about the same. But you can always tell when somebody starts gaining swing speed, especially towards the end of the fitting. You're swinging with a little bit more confidence too.
Yeah.
You know, having the right club in your hands. So
Super cool.
yeah, we'll send this over to you so you have all this.
Awesome. Thanks.
Okay.
You've seen me hit balls.
Yep.
You've worked me through a couple different drivers and shafts and things. Do I have a great swing?
You were looking at
No.
those four swings, right?
Do I have a consistent swing?
What's
Somewhat.
All right.
Getting better.
All right. Do my rugged good looks make up for my lack of swing ability?
It's always going to be this first.
We'll see.
Agree to disagree. What do we find out? What do we come up with?
All right.
What are we going to give me?
Well, Chris, good stuff today. Fit you into starting off with the club head. TaylorMade's new M3 driver.
Yeah.
Brand new for this year. And we talked about some of the differences with the composite crown, composite sole, certainly some added ball speed with the club head, right?
Yeah.
Our focus within the golf shaft was on the new TPT product. So
Okay.
we ended up with the new TPT golf shaft, and I explained to you as well some of the differences in terms of how they categorize certain weights, certain kick point within that golf shaft. And again, the great part about TPT technology is really how they're manufactured. So unlike conventional golf shafts where they're hand rolled, creates a little bit more variance in terms of how those shafts are constructed. We actually have an automated process which takes out a lot of the inconsistencies and a lot of the variance in terms of how that shaft's produced. Creates a much smoother feel, very, very consistent golf shaft.
And you had said that TPT Golf is like a subsidiary of the same company that makes race cars or something like that? Or?
Yeah, so the parent company actually based out of Sweden, so they produce you know, for Formula One cars, F1 race cars, you know, very high-end composites, and just recently they got into the golf industry and figured, well, hey, let's see if we can impart some of that technology into better golf shafts.
Yeah. Super cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So that's it. This is McEwen Reviews It. This is my new driver and new TPT shaft. This is so great.
Chris,
Thank you so much.
Yep.
I can't recommend Club Champion enough. Get fitted. Even if you're new at this game, it doesn't matter. It's nothing to be nervous about or intimidated by. Come in. They will work with you. You could have an uglier swing, believe it or not, than I have, which is a challenge. But this is great, and I highly recommend it. Again, McEwen Reviews It. We'll see you next time.
Big benefit was really adding a little bit more head weight in the bottom of the club to help you feel like you can actually release that club head a little bit better. So